Hello everybody, do you want to master list comprehensions in 5 minutes? In this video I'll teach you everything about list comprehensions. So let's dive right in. So what are list comprehensions? List comprehensions are used to set values to a list using for loops in a single line. Here's an example of setting values to a list without list comprehension. My list is set to an empty list. Then the for loop starts here and runs 10 times. Every iteration 5 is appended to the list. The list comprehension is basically the same put in a single line with a slightly different order. So first we create an empty list, then we add the for loop statement inside the square brackets. And of course the part that is appended every iteration that comes in the beginning. You can read this as set mylist to 5 for every I in range 10. Everything that you would put in there you can also use here in the list comprehension. For example, you can use functions like string or join it with other things like here. You can read this as set greetings to hello name for every name in the names list. I'll run this in VS Code. This is the expected output. So first we get 5 10 times in a list, and second time we get the numbers from 0 to 9 stored as strings also in a list, and the third time we get greetings for each person. But what if we have more advanced code like this? With if and else, you can still create list comprehensions, but the order depends on whether there is an else. Case 1, without else. You had two parts, a list comprehension ignoring the condition and the condition. Just add the condition at the end, like this, and that's it. Case 2, with else. Again, let's split it in parts. The list comprehension, the condition, else, and the parts to append. In this example, if I is divisible by 3, we append I, else we append high. We can merge this to append I if I is divisible by 3, else high. This is a ternary operator and comes in the beginning of the list comprehension, like this. So let me run this code. So you can see we get the expected output. For just if and no else, you get all the numbers divisible by 3 from 0 to 19. And with the else, you get the number for every number that is divisible by 3, and for every number that is not divisible by 3, you get high. So for 0 it's 0, then 1 is high, 2 is high, 3 is 3, 4 is high, and so on. What about nested for loops? Also possible. For better understanding, I'll use A for the outer loop and B for the inner loop. First we want to add just the values, so you just nest two for loops. So while A is 0, B has the values 0 to 2. Then A is 1 and B has the values 0 to 2, and so on. So these are the main parts for the list comprehension. You put the append part, then first the outer loop, and then the inner loop. So this is the list comprehension. The same applies if you want to flatten a matrix. Outer loop first, inner loop next, just like in the original code. But it's different if you want to create a matrix. This is an example of creating a 2D list. Can we make this into a list comprehension? Yes. See something familiar? We know how to set the values to row as a list comprehension, like this. And then inside the append, we replace row with the list comprehension. Now we can create another list comprehension the same way. But instead of adding a single element or variable, we are adding another list. The first list comprehension is treated as a single element. So this time the inner for loop comes first. As you can see, this is much shorter than the original code and is still readable. So you're creating a list comprehension every iteration and using it to create another list comprehension. You know the expected output, I'll just show it works. Yes, everything works. Here's a bonus. You can not only create list comprehensions but also set comprehensions and dict comprehensions. If you try tuple comprehensions, you get a generator. Set comprehension is just the same with curly brackets, and it removes any duplicate values. -2 square and 2 square are the same, so it just stores 4 ones. For dict comprehensions, you again use the curly brackets, but this time you first use the key, then a colon, and then the value. So this is the output. Feel free to share anything. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.